my god. Wow. Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm a bit torn here, and I'm going to make a quick video talking about a group. I guess it's a petition or a lobbying group or something like that called peopleforbikes.org. For those that don't really know, recently I picked up riding my bike to work again. It's about 10 miles from my house to work, and I ride on a paved municipal path that is on the side of a river runoff thing, the LA River, basically. It's called the San Gabriel River, Coyote Creek River in Southern California, so on and so forth. I don't spend more than like half a mile on a road with cars anymore. Now, once upon a time, I did commute by bike, and it was 15 miles from where I lived in the past to an old place that I was working at. And I got this little love tap here by a car. It actually took me off my bike. The driver came from behind me, and then, let me see if I get this. The driver came from behind me and pulled into his driveway, and I hit the car. I was doing about 13 miles an hour, not that fast. But what happened was I tried to not fall, and I tore the mirror off of his truck with my arm. So anyway, that put me off the street for 3 or 4 years, actually 5 years. It was in 2007. So anyway, I have a deep understanding of bike safety. I was very safe beforehand. I'm even more aware and safe now. But I fully understand that the roads are dangerous, and by and large, motorists don't really give a damn about cyclists. They're small, and they're not at all posing any threat to a car. So no threat. Drives a lot slower or rides a lot slower than a car. Big annoyance to people who drive cars. I understand that, so I'm not saying that. Anyway, this peopleforbikes.org. It says uniting 1 million voices to improve the future of biking. And let me run through some of this thing. Here's where I'm torn, because it's got a nice little website, and they're supposed to be about kids and getting better bike lanes or municipal bike paths like I ride on, getting them paved, taken care of, whatever. But here's some problems. What they want to do, and I'm gonna read from their website under Federal Funding 101. How does federal funding help bicycling? And here we go. I'm paraphrasing. Oh, I'm going to cut ahead. That is why a key goal of peopleforbikes.org campaign is making the most of the increasingly united and powerful voice of our group to speak clearly and directly to elected officials. In particular, we need to be sure that members of Congress know that federal investment in bike infrastructure and programs is important, cost-effective, and beneficial in all 50 states. We need federal leaders to appreciate that millions of Americans care about safe and appealing bicycle conditions. Okay, and all that makes sense. That's not all that surprising. But then we scroll down a little bit more, and it says widespread support has boosted bike funding. Okay, federal funding for bike and pedestrian programs has grown dramatically from $23 million in 1992 to $1.2 billion in 2009. This increased investment reflects bipartisan support from Congress, the administration, governors, city leaders, and the public. It also reflects a widespread recognition of the ways that bicycling can address many of the biggest challenges that face our society, including adult and childhood obesity, which is true, I agree with that, road congestion, air pollution, and high costs of road and parking infrastructure. All of this is true, but nobody's going to give up their cars and go to bikes, so, whatever. Let me read forward a little bit. Rolling into the future, the latest federal transportation bill became law in 2005. It authorized spending of $286 billion for roadways, railways, transit, and bicycling and walking projects and programs. Roughly 1.5% of this multi-year sum has been designated for biking and walking projects. Meanwhile, biking and walking account for more than 12% of all trips that Americans make. Oh, 12%. That's interesting. The 2005 bill expired at the end of 2009 since Congress has approved a series of short-term extensions that keep transportation funding project moving, albeit less certainly than a multi-year case. Anyway, don't want to ramble, but there's a comment here. This posted a year ago, and it received 2 likes, and here's the comment. And he's quoting, answer is that it comes from the federal level through decisions made by Congress, end quote of the website. And here's his comment. In other words, raise my taxes. I've been biking my entire life. I'm 50 years old. My kids bike, my neighbors bike. We do not want more government spending. Please just say no, and then it gives a a bill. I think it's DI 8800. Just just do it yourself. Why does everyone need government to do everything for them? You people are pathetic. And there's a response, and it says, I'm fine with your assertion as long as you want to stop all funding for roads, bridges, and other modes of transportation. Cut one, cut it all. If, however, you want nicer roads, then your argument is not seamless, and I'm disappointed your thinking is not more clear, which I don't even want to get into the discussion of that argument. But that's kind of the point, isn't it? If 12% of the populace either walk or bike, and I have a feeling that the 12% is then cut in less than half for cycling, but whatever, then yeah, there'd be some portion that would come from the government to, fix roads or whatever. Now, should it? No, it shouldn't. What do you do about roads, bridges, and other things for cars? Well, it's true that the roads for cars are not really designed with biking in mind. They're designed for cars. Okay, fine. But so what's the rub then? Do you not support the keeping up of the roads? You have to, right? It's the whole infrastructure of the country. Trucks must roll, food must go across the country, product must be moved, so on and so forth. And I don't think we do a lot of moving product with bicycles. It's a bummer. I don't want my nicely, freshly paved, asphalted path going away, but I fully understand that path was paid for by tax dollars. So I'm torn. How do I view this type of thing? Let's see what else they got on the website here. I'm going to post the little picture so that people can see it when they know they'll see it. It's a blue bicycle with a little red smiley face. God, their website makes it look so nice and cheery, just like all things, One for all, whether you're a bike commuter, a roadie, a mountain biker, or just a casual rider, by uniting your voice with a million others, we can build national movement to improve bicycling in the country. We can make a statement through our sheer numbers by raising public awareness and demonstrating passionate leadership. The biggest problem here is not that bike paths don't exist, or that roads need to be widened so that they can have, a little side on the right side for bikes, or that more municipal pathways exist. The problem is that I think, and I don't know how you'd ever fix this, is that people don't understand the laws concerning bicycles. Bicycles and people riding those bicycles operate in the same fashion as an automobile. They have the same laws. The only thing they don't share in common is that they're required to have insurance. I believe that's different in some states. I could be wrong, but the problem is that bicycles aren't going to do, 30 miles an hour. Some do. Professional riders and racers do. But for example, when I'm on a, pristinely smooth asphalt stretch, I'm only averaging 20 to 25 miles an hour. And that is, that's full speed ahead. And could go faster maybe with a different bike, but it doesn't matter. At that point, you're kind of at the point where if anything gets in front of you, you could have a crash. So it's not necessarily riding safe, it's just riding very fast. I can do that on certain parts of the municipal pathway because there's nothing in front of me. I can see for like a mile, and I've got a big wide stretch, nobody's in front of me, and it's like glassy, smooth asphalt. It's great. But you don't want to do that in the road because mainly motorists, they don't watch you, they don't see you, and you can get hit. So what does that mean? It means you ride slower. But when you ride slower, you piss off motorists. Now here's the rub. When you're on a street, and it's a two-way street, you got one car's going this way and another car's going this way, and it's a narrow street, the cyclist is recommended to take the whole middle of that right lane. They take that whole lane for themselves. And the reason is if you give the motorists an opportunity to pass, they will pass. And oftentimes they will pass you in a way that leaves very little room. California, for example, they're trying to create some law where you are going to have a 3-foot buffer on either side of you as a bicyclist. That cars must pass you with 3 feet of space. Thus, I don't think it's going to change anything because the police aren't going to pull it over. And here's the big problem. So going back to my accident, the police came, I was hit, and the car, passed me unsafely and then turned in front of me. He was driving a small truck, and he didn't actually pass me with the bed of his truck until he started to turn, thus running me into the curb. It happens a lot. People don't see bikes, and so this happens. When the cop got there, he asked me, why were you passing on the right? And so basically what he was saying is, if, I'm the bicyclist here, this is America, so we're riding on the right side of the road, right? He thought that the truck was here, I was coming up to the truck, and then he turned. Whereas what happened was, I was here, and the truck came and passed and turned in front of me. No matter of explaining that to the police officer changed his mind. He was set in stone, blah, blah, blah. So, in the end, it didn't really matter because I don't have insurance, and so the insurance company said I was like 51% at fault, so the driver didn't get a point on his license, which I'm fine with, and I don't really care. And they gave me a little bit of money to take care of medical fees and anything that happened with the bike, even though the bike was fine. And then they fixed his truck, so on and so forth. I got off really lucky, and I understand that. But the problem isn't that the problem is really that, one, the police don't understand bike laws, by and large. Some are different, of course. And the populace doesn't understand bike laws either. So, what's the solution for that? Is it taking federal money and pouring it into, this People for Bikes organization? No, probably not. Do I have a real good solution? No, not really, but I definitely don't think it's taking money from the taxpayers. So, yeah, kind of torn. I don't know how to go forward with this one, guys, so I'll take your thoughts. And I don't want to get into an argument about motorists who don't like cyclists. I understand that there are a lot of frustrated people that are motorists regarding cyclists. I get it. There's a lot of motorists that have killed cyclists with their frustration. When there's the big mob rides, you got a bunch of hipsters in fixed gears all slowing down traffic, and the car will just blow through. But look, again, driving is a privilege, not a right. And when there's somebody in front of you that you don't like and is slowing you down, the only right you have is to be patient. It's not to honk. It's not to yell at them. It's not to tell them to get off the road. It's to be patient. It's to wait for an opportunity to pass and then pass. How do I get that message out? I don't know. Maybe you guys have an idea that I haven't thought of. All right, take it easy. Quick addendum. I went through and dug a little deeper on the urge Congress to support biking, and they, can sign you up to send out these emails or whatever. And this is what the email says, or letter. There's an easy way to improve our nation's health, our economy, and environment. All you have to do is support bicycling. The more people who ride bikes, the better off we'll all be. Just 3 hours of bike riding, God, I'm all over the place, riding a week can reduce people's risk of heart disease and stroke by 50%. Every mile ridden, 1 less pound of CO2 in the atmosphere. And commuting to work can save Americans $10 or more per day, which you really just recoup in the amount of money you spend on food, I know. Money they can spend supporting our country's small businesses. Already, millions of Americans ride their bikes every day, but you could help increase these numbers and create greater health, economic, and environmental benefits by supporting policies that encourage people to ride. Simple measures, here we go, such as creating more bike lanes and trails, installing more bike racks, and supporting bicycle awareness campaigns can make big differences. And when the time comes to pass the next transportation bill, there will be countless opportunities to enact these kind of initiatives. Please do all you can to support bicycling in the United States. And then there's a talking points thing on the side, and here we go. Last year, 1% of all trips in the U.S. were made by bicycle, an increase of 25% from 2001. That's a long time. That's not a lot. That's not a high percentage either. 47% of Americans say they would like to see more bike lanes, trails, and other bike facilities in their communities. And then traffic congestion wastes nearly 3 billion gallons of gas per year. And for every mile pedaled instead of driven, bikers save 1 pound of CO2 from entering the atmosphere. And then studies have shown that houses near bike paths retain more value than houses that are not. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, that's the addendum. Draw whatever conclusion from that you will. All right.